This is really something. I'm usually the one making breakfast. That's good. That's good.
Hey guys, Majin Obama, and this is a hard one. I kind of had to think about how to phrase this video, but what I want to talk about today are Tekken mechanics. Now, this is not the kind of video where I'm gonna get on here and say, "Oh, they should make this change," blah 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 blah. It's not quite like that. I've been playing Tekken 8 a lot since it dropped. I remember when the game was first kind of shown off or demoed at the Tekken World Tour 2022 final. I remember at that time when Nakatsu was showing off the heat system and all this other stuff, I was thinking to myself, that's cool, but this is a lot of stuff working together. These are a lot of wheels, especially for a vanilla Tekken. I already kind of established my expectations, right? And I could tell by what Nakatsu was showing off that the addition of all these mechanics and systems with what heat is, right, and the heat subsystems, that this game was going to take a long time for them, not just us, but for them to figure out and fix, and through adjustments and tuning, it's going to take a long time for this game to kind of hit its stride, in my opinion, right? But through my experience playing the game so far, what I've realized is there's certain things about what Tekken 8 is mechanically. Picture this, right? I'm at home and I'm a kid and my mom calls me. She says, "Hey, take the meat out the freezer. There's going to be something made for dinner tonight." Now, this is probably a relatable example for a lot of people, right? At some point, your mom or your dad, whoever, when they ask you to do that, they had something in mind that they wanted to make for dinner. They had an idea. When they got home, they executed. Whether it was good or bad, depends on your house. And depends on what they felt like making. But they had an idea, they had an image, they had a vision, and they executed it. Now, for me, I can also remember sometimes where maybe my mom wasn't feeling super up to it, right? She comes home, she throws Kraft macaroni in the pot, sprinkles the cheese on, and I come downstairs and I'm like, "Hey, mac and cheese? We weren't, all right." She says, "Shut the hell up. If you don't want mac and cheese, there's leftover Chinese food in the fridge, and if you don't like that, you can mix it together, and if you don't like that, you can go to sleep hungry." Tough titty. Chinese food mixed with mac and cheese. Pizza with ice cream. Ice cream, just throw it on top of the pizza. What I'm trying to get at here is, elephant in the room. We've been playing this game, we've been having fun with it. Bro, heat system plus rage, especially with rage arts, it's too much. It's too much. This game is bloated mechanic-wise. If I'm bugging, you guys can get at me in the comments below. I'm not trying to convince you of anything. This is just my piece. I can think of other titles that have had similar issues, but I think it's particularly intrusive in the case of Tekken 8. There are times when you play this game, and in one round, there is like 20 seconds of cinematics that you have no control over your characters on. Here's my thing. Tekken 8 is so high fidelity and so beautiful. The game looks awesome. Almost too good, right? Like, the problem is that the effects are so godlike that not everyone's PCs can handle it, right? My own included. But that's the kind of stuff that I get that they make for spectators and they make for people watching. It adds excitement. It also gives them a chance to be able to flex like some character charisma, I guess, and more like performance, right? Or something like that. They have a great looking and playing game. You don't have to do all that. And I know better than to think that they backtrack and remove rage arts or something like that, even though I would love that. And you could call me a scrub, I really don't care, dude. The way heat and rage work together, to me, they're not cohesive in a way that's cool. It's not like you're talking about the uni grid system where all the mechanics are tied into this gauge where it depends on what you do in the match in order to be able to win this tug of war with this random, for some reason, timer. But it works out in a really cool way to where matches are interesting, And even though chain shift in that game stops time, it's not like what we have right now in Tekken 8 where it's like every round they give you this stuff. It'd be one thing, I think, if maybe you had one heat activation per game, or maybe it's a gauge you have to fill up from your normals hitting the other person, not restoring health on block, but on hit. I think that'd be cool. Something like that maybe would tone it down. But when you get into the match and there's so much time, I feel like, where you're not in control of the character, and it becomes almost intrusive on the gameplay. It's kind of unfortunate because like I said, the game looks great, right? And something that's really, like, I think that does an even better job of selling that is when you get like zoom in effects or dramatic camera angles on high impact hits, such as like some counter hit attacks or some grabs or something like that in certain situations. I think more stuff that's inspired by those kinds of ideas, those go further to me and they still feel good as a player. So I guess what I wanted to say is, with regards to future updates, and like I said, the Tekken team, they had their hands full. I think this game, just because of how many kind of moving parts there are with it compared to previous iterations of Tekken, they're gonna have their hands full with battle tuning for this game, and it's gonna take some time. I think us as players, you have to give that team, you have to give them some patience. You have to give them some leeway. You guys have to be cool with waiting a little while for things to kind of flesh out, because they have a really big challenge with this, with how robust the systems are. What I would encourage them is to consider what the idea or what their image is, and free from this person's opinion on Twitter, or, and like I said, this isn't even about characters, right? But free from this person's opinion on Twitter, have a vision and execute your vision, and let us kind of figure out if we like it or not, is the thing. But don't feel like you have to have your vision and then throw it on top of Rage from the last game, just because that's the expectation. I don't think that's like that. And the way it feels to me is like, it's like I took the mac and cheese and threw it on top of Chinese food. I think Heat by itself has some really interesting ideas. I like the idea of chip normals and getting health back on hit. I think is good. Getting health back on block normals is all right. that can go. And also the character unique attributes of Heat, right? That's kind of been something that I think it's been on a character level, something that they're going to have to do some more tuning with, obviously, where certain characters I think get way more benefits out of Heat, especially with regards to their smashers, than other characters, right? But when you throw that on top of Rage, it plays out, in my opinion, it plays out in a way to where, like, I can look at some rounds of this game being played where for like 10 seconds to 20, like no one is doing it, like no one has control of the character. It's just like cinematic. And while that's cool at first, I question how cool it's going to remain after a year, after 2 years. You know, how often are you going to be able to look at and be wowed of this activation animation, and then of this smasher, and then of this rage art? And that's something that I kind of want you people to think about. It's just something that I kind of felt when I first saw the game, and I wanted to wait to even talk about this. And now you're kind of like leaving the honeymoon phase where, like, you know, everybody's like playing so much over the past month, and now I'm kind of like, yeah, I still feel the exact same way I did when I first saw the game. Man, that's a lot of mechanics for this kind of game. And are they going to keep Heat on top of all that? That's a lot. Seems kind of bloated to me. That's kind of where I'm at with it. And like I said, if you guys agree, disagree, or if you think is there a mechanic that bugs you with the game? Or is there a mechanic that you like? Like I said, there's some ideas with it that I really, really like and I'm really fond of. But it's the combination of them that, to me, it feels like throwing ice cream on top of pizza. And I'd personally like it a little bit more if maybe we could just commit the one over the other. But hey, that's just me. I've still been having a great time with the game. I'm grinding. They got me. They got me bad, bro. I'm playing it. I said I wasn't gonna play it super hard, and I said I wasn't gonna invest emotionally in a vanilla first version of a game like that. Blah 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 blah. They got me though. I'm grinding. And I'm emotionally affected. I'm afflicted right now. But with that said, let me know in the comments below what you guys think about the systems and mechanics. Do you like the Heat system on top of the Rage system? Am I bitching too much? Are you bitching not enough? Are you bitching too much? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll holler at you guys later. Everybody be easy.